Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. What's going on, brother?
Very well. You?
Thanks for asking. I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Very excited about all the things that are going on within the Powerful Man, the movement, the results the men are getting. It's absolutely fantastic. Super excited about it.
Me too. There's a lot of great things. I've not been spending a great deal of time in workplace lately because we've just been so, as you guys know, or as you know rather, just so busy with everything that's going on, which has been great. And I was in there this morning and I was looking at all the posts from the guys and the post from you about obviously the non-profit and the summit that's coming up and the gratitude challenge that's going on, the fitness challenge that's going on, the guys in the activation method, the guys in the brother. And I just took a moment to just be like, wow. You know, I remember when this was just a desire, right? To have this kind of community of men and the podcast as well. I mean, we don't even get to have the pleasure of meeting so many of the listeners. So thank you guys for listening or watching. But even, the guys that we do speak to reference the podcast, even, that's helping so many people as well. It's great. I'm really, really happy with it all. I'm grateful.
Yeah, me too. Guys that don't know, we did launch a nonprofit just to reach out and help more men, and also to give the men that have been through the program are looking for a way to give back as well. So that's really exciting. Stay tuned for more details on that and how you can get involved if you're interested, as well as giving back. We're also going to be hosting a men's summit virtually this year because obviously with the pandemic, but that's going to be coming up with some phenomenal speakers, from across different organizations, industries, but all about issues facing a modern man. So that'll be coming up in the coming months. Well, depending on when you listen to this. So a lot of work going on behind the scenes. But today, Tim, what I want to talk about are the two main ways that men can increase their sexual market value. You up for that?
Suppose so.
So yeah, man, I was thinking about this, actually with an upcoming interview that I have for a YouTube channel. It's going to be an exclusive for that channel. And I'm going to be talking to a woman who specializes in helping married businessmen, right? And what she does is she specializes in helping men with their style, right? Determining their style. Now, you know that style isn't high up on my list per se. I'm just happy if I match most days coming in through there. But it got me thinking more about the problems that a lot of men are facing in their marriage, right? And one of the things that comes up, it's a detail, is sexual market value, right? And what that means is kind of like a stock value. So if you've been watching the markets at all lately, there's been a lot of volatility. But what is a stock that you want to find that you want to invest in and you want to see that stock go up? Well, I mean, obviously all stocks you want to see go up that you're invested in. But if you think about it in terms of the stock exchange, right? You're going in, you're going to buy into a company. So you're buying shares, you're buying ownership of a company, and you're hoping that its value will go up. Well, the same thing has to do with your relationship, or just for you, right? You're hoping your wife's, value goes up, her value to you, that is, and she's hoping the same with you, right? And if you're single and you're on the market, as some men find themselves, maybe they've saved, they've waited too long in the activation method. They stayed in deactivated state for too long and their wife is left, right? So maybe they're finding themselves on the open market, right? So what is your sexual market value? It's the same thing. It's the amount of value that's placed upon you by the opposite sex. So that's what we want to talk about today. And there's two main ways, and we'll go into the details a little bit during this show, but there's two ways to increase your sexual market value. First way, external, right? Your looks, your physical appearance. And this is kind of your first impression, right? That people see right away. It doesn't last as long though, but it's still very important. We'll dive into some of those details. And the second way to do it is your internal game, who you are as a man. Now, most of the men that we talk to are amazing business leaders, but they've been deactivated for such a long time. We talk about the scales. right? They start dating, the scales are neutral. You add some positive experiences to it, the scales tip in your balance. But over time, men try to go into the nice guy route, right? Their wife is moody, something's going on in their relationship. And then the guys counter with the nice guy approach. And next thing you know, that causes the scales to tip a different way and they become deactivated, right? There's too many negative experiences. And of course, therapy doesn't. So we got the exterior game and the interior game. So, Tim, let's kick it off back and forth with a couple ways guys can step up their exterior game. And then we'll go into the real deep dive on the interior game.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So the first thing, guys, and these are going to sound pretty simple, right? And pretty basic, but you'd be surprised at how many men skip these things, right? The first thing is, give yourself a once over, right? And immediately after listening to this, it's going to be superficial, but we're humans, right? We're superficial creatures. Now, I want you to look at your nails, right? On your toes and your fingers. Are your nails cut and are they clean? Basic, like cuticles sticking out. Have you cleaned up the basics of those hygienes? Also, are you freshly shaven, right? Are you cleanly shaven, right? And it's okay to have a beard and have it a little bit scraggly, right? But is it scraggly with intent as you're looking through there? Have you cleaned up your eyebrows, right? Things like that is what I want you guys to start looking at and seeing, are you doing the best you can with what you have, right? Just the basics of hygiene is taking care of your basic hygiene in the brush your teeth category or not. Now, I have a buddy of mine, Tim, who you know as well. You've met him in your visits here to the States, and great guy, right? Definitely on the alpha side, but he just lets those things go. And when he's in a relationship over time, his toenails are just nasty. He wears sandals all the time. I mean, it's borderline disgusting for another guy, let alone a woman, right? He lets all himself go until the relationship ends. Then he starts cleaning up his act. And this cycle repeats. And you kind of wonder, you're using this to attract a woman. What if you kept this going? What if oftentimes you took care of your external appearance? So that's one thing you can do, right? Do that first makeover and really look at yourself in the mirror and just go look at your nails, cuticles. Are they clean? Are your toenails just relatively trimmed? We don't have to go get a pedicure or a manicure, although some guys do. That's not my style. Just make sure you have basic hygiene going.
Yeah, I was trying. Who is that? I have some guesses, but yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've been guilty of this in the past. I think we all have, and it can be so easy to just, neglect certain things, right? Especially when you're in a long-term relationship or you're married and you're working hard and all those other things that go into it, right? And at the same time, it's not an excuse, definitely looking back, had an effect on my relationship. I don't feel like I've ever let it get so far. I've never just completely let myself go and stop working out and, completely not giving a crap. But the question is, if I was single, would I be behaving differently? And now, I mean, I'd have a haircut right now. That'd be about it. But the barbers have been shut. Now they're reopened. But apart from that, I'm happy to say today, yeah, I'm feeling great. But back then, no, I didn't. And it was a real, I can't remember who asked me the question. It might have been you and I that were talking about this in bed. And we got onto the idea of, yeah, but if you were single, would you be doing things different? And that's the real question.
Well, so you're skipping ahead, which I love. So that is the answer. That's the question I always ask the guys, right away. So the question is, Doug, well, how do I know? And how do I know if I should be making a change or if I'm doing enough? And the simple question is, look, if your wife left you right now, left you today, obviously you're taking some time to get over the situation, but what are some of the things you would do to make your sexual market value, right, your SMV, go up? What are the immediate things that come to mind? Oh, well, what I would do is I would go down to, a store, Nordstrom's, whatever we have in the States, and I would get some new clothes because the clothes I have are a little ratty, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. What I'd probably do is get a fresh, clean haircut. Okay, got it. What else? Well, I would definitely join the gym, right? Because I want to get back in shape. Because let's be real, if I'm out there, I don't want to have this belly and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So guys listening to this, you get the idea. What you want to do is make that list of things that you would do if your wife left and you needed to attract the next wife, the next woman. You wanted to bring her in. This is kind of like a peacock, right? A peacock, shows its tail and everything. You're looking at it in the dating world. They call it peacocking when you dress up. But really, what do you do? Right? What would you change right now? And if it was the first few weeks of dating a woman, she was staying at your house for a week or two, would you wear those crappy sweats you've had since college, right? Or maybe you would, but maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you would go, geez, I'd rather have a nice, nice robe that I could just unrobe with, so she, we could have amazing sex. Okay, get that now. Do those things now. Join the gym now. Get the trainer now, right? While you're still married, so you can preserve your relationship. Also, guys, we see this all the time, talking to hundreds of men every month. And, a lot of these guys wait till it's too late. They don't want to invest the money in a course or in a trainer or something else. And then they end up with more than 50% of their wealth gone, right? And it's, after lawyers, after the settlements, after alimony, and all of these things, they end up losing more money. Now, if you would just invest in yourself now, that marriage wouldn't be gone, right? Or you have the choice of leaving if you want to, but your stock, your sexual market value goes up. And it's a great question. I highly recommend, and Tim, you jumped ahead, which is perfect, is sitting down and writing this out, really thinking about it, right? You got to put yourself in that future state, which can be uncomfortable, but what would you really do? Would you upgrade your car? Would you upgrade your wardrobe? Would you would you get a new style, right? Maybe you're stuck in a style from 20 years ago, right? Maybe you're still dressing like a boy on the weekends rather than a man. Like, what exactly would you do? Write that down.
It's interesting, right? Because a lot of guys we speak to, what would it look like if you had it all your way? What would success look like? Well, I'd walk in and my wife would be excited to see me, and she'd want to have sex with me. She'd admire me. She'd respect me. It's like, what if you started to admire yourself first? What if you started to behave in a way where it showed that you respected yourself first, right? And this goes straight to that point, doesn't it? The admiration and respect that guys often seek in the relationship, but sometimes they don't realize is when they first start giving that to themselves, that's when they'll start to get it from the people closest to them, usually. And also, again, sexual market value, which was the original thing here, is as you start to do these things, guys, it also there's other benefits to this. It creates mystery in a relationship. Ooh, hang on a minute, something's changed there. Hang on a minute. You start working it out. You start being around other people. You start, suddenly you're something that she wants to keep hold of. There's that element of kind of scarcity to a degree. Right? You're not always just there. You're not always looking loose. It starts to become clear that, hang on a minute, this guy is a bit of a prized asset. And, I want to make sure that I'm doing all I can to make sure he stays looking over here because he's prized.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is, right? And so we're talking about that. My chair's creaking here. We're talking about that quite a bit. But let's also talk about the most important aspect, right? So the exterior is what you see first, but there's also something with us men when you become deactivated over time, right? It's your energetic presence, your internal game that really has the most long-standing hockey stick-like growth on the sexual marketplace. This is also why men who master their internal game can go into a bar, go into a club, or go to a barbecue or even church, and women turn their heads and they look at them with irresistible looks like, something's different about this guy. That's all internal game. And when you can apply the external look, like we talked about, with the internal game, it's game over, so to speak. That's where you're getting this hockey stick-like growth in your sexual market value that does not go down, right? There is some limitation to your external looks, right? I'm never going to be tan. So if you're watching this on YouTube, this is me tan. There's certain things that, and I grew up by the beach my whole life. There's certain things I just know I can't change, right? I can only get so in shape aesthetically, right? But I can always grow. There's no ceiling on my internal game, on my internal growth, on my internal energetic projections. There's no limit there. And this is what the guys in the Brotherhood, which is our 1-year mastermind group, in the Inner Circle, right, which is our higher end group, right? This is what these guys get. They get it, right? And that's why they invest with us for over a year. And most guys renew after that year for a second and third year because there's value in it. Their sexual market value is going up, but they're also seeing that their value in general is going up because they've gone from deactivated to activated using the activation method, and then they've continued that growth. So a couple things you guys can do today, right now, in looking at that is first answer the question, right? Am I deactivated? And the way you can answer that question is, are you finding yourself in the nice guy trap? Right? What I mean by that is, are you finding yourself trying to do things around the house, buying flowers for your wife, in the hopes that she'll be in a better mood and you'll get laid? Right? And maybe it's not even getting laid, right? Maybe it's just you're doing things around the house like, maybe this will make her happier. Maybe this will make her happy. Or you're finding yourself going, yeah, fine. I'll watch the kids while you go hang out with your friends again, right? And you're putting your needs last. Very common thing for us men to do, especially us providers that are out there. If you're finding yourself doing these things and you're in a deactivated state, that's exactly why we created the activation method, right? Is to get you out of that state. But first, you want to realize, am I in that state? Yes or no, right? And just be honest with yourself. Because when you're honest with yourself, then you can come from that state to go to change, right? And going to that state. I remember, Tim, gosh, when my wife and I, were going through our issues, right, and our problems. And I vividly remember, and I've talked about this before, but I remember, I'm in the house, she's out with her girlfriends. And so I'm like, all right, I could go out with the guys, I could do this, but you know what? I'm going to work on this marriage. I'm going to make her happy, right? She's going to, look up to me. And so I put my headphones in and poured a, pot of coffee on. And I just started cleaning the house, putting away her clothes, my clothes, the laundry, just doing it all, right? So she would have no stress and worries. And she would look at me. I remember thinking, man, she's going to come home and she's going to just be so impressed, right? Oh my gosh, this guy did all of these things for me. He went above and beyond. Dinner's ready, lunch for tomorrow, meal prep. He did it all. What an amazing man. And she was going to sing, like literally sing from the rooftops, right? To all her girlfriends on how amazing I was. They were going to be amazed too, by the way, right? In my vision that I had. And it didn't work. The house got cleaned. All of those things got done. I sacrificed my time with my boys, my friends. She went out, had fun with her girlfriends, came home, and basically had a chef, a maid, and someone prepping all these things for her. And guess what? She liked it, but didn't really care. Didn't change her mood. Didn't change our relationship. I was stuck in the nice guy trap. And that's when it hit me. That's when I was like, crap, this isn't working. This does not work. I was deactivated. I was in a deactivated state. And once I realized it, though, and caught the optics, I was able to then take massive action. So this is where your internal game, guys, comes in. But part of that internal game is being honest with yourself. I was honest with myself, not in that moment, but by the next day when I woke up, I was honest with myself and what was going on. And it's through that honesty and that lens of clarity that we're able to make a shift. Then we're able to make a change. Then we're able to draw a line in the sand and say, no more. I will no longer be that guy, right? It's not working for me. It's not working for my wife. Otherwise, she'd be happy. So it's time to change. And that's when you take massive action.
It's kind of like, obviously you've put on something tailored before, Doug, right? How do you feel when you put on like a tailored shirt, for example? I don't know about you. Yeah, go for it. How do you feel?
I feel amazing when you put on clothes that were made just for you and your body fit, and going through. I mean, you and I've talked about this as it relates to even normal clothes, right? You can get normal t-shirts tailored and just fits and drapes over your body.
Yeah, and the thing with this, the inner and the outer game, they're so interlinked.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if your outer game is long toenails, scraggy hair, unshaven, chances are your inner game's also going to be sloppy. It's
Yep.
just the reality. So the good news about this, guys, the good thing is it's very easy for you to win at this. It's very easy for you to create conditions where, hey, if you just start working out, you just go and buy that new wardrobe, you're gonna want to start to read a little bit more and get your routines on point, and your confidence is gonna grow. You're gonna shift from being deactivated to you're gonna start to feel yourself becoming activated. You're gonna feel it literally. And it's in this place where it's easier, or it becomes increasingly easy to then say no to your wife when she's asking you to do something that you don't really want to do, because you start to feel full. Whereas when you're empty and your outer game and your inner game are weak and you're really just clutching at straws, quite literally, you're in kind of desperate, you're deactivated and you're in desperation mode. So you do anything for sex, right? Because it's going to feel a little bit full. And maybe instead you kind of turn into porn and whatever else. But the point is, you're trying to feel those feelings of activation by grabbing these things outside of you. So the point I'm making is, it becomes very easy when you just start to work on these two things together. They just they have a habit of just kind of rising to kind of like a DNA helix, right? They're just so intertwined. So it's really easy for you to win. Really easy for you to win. Really easy for you to go from deactivated to activated. And by default, then escape the nice guy trap, like Doug was talking about. And honestly, guys, you really don't have an excuse as to why you cannot start this today. Honestly, you know, it's really easy. Doug's shared about, hey, take an assessment, write a list. Super easy to do. Also easy not to do. Which heart are you going to choose? The heart of your relationship, you know, not being where you want it to be, like Master Doug always says, or the perceived heart of making this change. But again, it can be really easy for you to shift this.
Yeah, and it all starts with optics. So carrying on, guys, and I'm trying to give you guys as many things as we can in this short time that you can actually take action on right now, you know, to do this. So we've talked about your external game and what you're going to do here, right? You're going to write down, as a recap, what are those things you would do if all of a sudden you found yourself on the market, right? You're going to bars, clubs, church, wherever it is, you're going to see beautiful women that are potential candidates for you, the gym. How are you going to dress differently, right? How are you going to act differently? And go through there. And then the second thing is internally, you're going to get really clear on where you are. Are you deactivated? Are you the nice guy? You know, if you're not having sex as much as you want to, guaranteed that you're in a deactivated state. Okay, period. End of story. Now it's up to you on how you want to get activated. And, you know, we're happy to talk to you about methodologies that we've proven to work. Also, for your internal game, right? One thing is discipline. Right now, I have a gigantic teenager in me, which everybody that knows me will say, which is awesome when I play and have fun. But also, it's a rebellious nature that I have, which discipline is horrible. But I'll tell you what, guys, with discipline gives you freedom. And that freedom, right, that you're going to get is also freedom from critique. By applying discipline, you're going to show that you're honoring your word to yourself, first and foremost, then eventually your word to others. And so you want to get discipline around this and having just some basic discipline. Now, what we recommend is waking up and doing your alpha rise and shine, right? Getting onto that alpha rise and shine each and every time. Really important, easy to do. That's going to show your partner, your wife, that you're moving in a good direction, right? You're improving yourself. You're reading, right? You're meditating or spending time in silence, whatever it is for you. You're exercising your body, right? But it's really the discipline, is the mental internal game that she's going to notice. When she notices, she knows your market value is going up, right? She just, a moron could figure that out, right? If somebody's investing and bettering themselves, their market value is going to go up. Now, if your market value is going up for you and she's noticing, well, guess what? She's also going to realize other people are going to notice. And that means other women. And for women themselves being their biggest critics, That's going to be a big thing, right? So you definitely want to integrate some discipline. And what we teach the guys is the Alpha Rise and Shine routine. Works for, it's custom for married business owners. And that's exactly what it's designed for. It's not one of these general, get up at the 5 a.m. club. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But this one's specifically designed for married businessmen.
Yeah, I love it. It's so true. And like you said, you can download it super easily. You can either go into the Facebook group, grab it there. And when you start to do this, it's, I love what you said there about design for married businessmen. Because I think if I was listening, I might be thinking, I don't have the time to do this in the morning. My days are so packed. They're so tight. I need to be up out of the house. Well, we've had guys that have gone to bed a little bit earlier, so they can get up half an hour earlier. We can really slot into your day. And again, I'm going to keep on linking as well the outer game and the inner game here, because by default, when you just start to do the things that Doug has mentioned with the outer game, you're just going to feel better, guys. Think about how it's felt when you've won, put that tailored shirt on, or you wear good clothes. You just feel better. So it makes everything else so much easier. So utilize that. But yeah, the Alpha Rise and Shine is a great tool to use. Each guy, the beauty of it, each guy makes it their own. And within that, it's going to, like you said, Doug, work that muscle of discipline. And look, guys, you can get going on the Alpha Rise and Shine 20 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day if need be. There really is every reason for you to be able to squeeze this in. And what we often see here, guys that start by saying, hey, you don't know how busy my day is. My day is different. I just can't do this. Go from having no time to end up being like, hey, my morning routine is non-negotiable. Not overnight, obviously, but that's usually where they end up. That's where most guys end up, because it just feels so great and it becomes a pillar within their day that they know when they get that done and they start the day off with discipline on the right foot and put on some clothes they're feeling really good in and they're looking good, and it's just an energy that just takes over them usually.
Well, it totally is. And guys, this could be super easy. And I have a handout for you guys. We're going to go over a bunch of these. It's going to give you a worksheet that you can really work on. Just go over to thepowerfulman.com/SMV. That's thepowerfulman.com/S as in Sam, M as in Mary, V as in Victor. And you'll be able to download that worksheet, and it's going to take you through a bunch of things that you can do right away to increase your sexual market value. And as Tim was saying, imagine it's a stock. You are a stock on the open market. Now, you may be 100% owned, so to speak, by your wife, right? But if your stock has gone down since you've been married, and you know if it has, guys, and this actual worksheet I'm going to have is going to help you identify those areas, then, your wife's bought into something that's sinking. What do you do with a sinking stock, right? Over time, you trade it, right? You trade it on the market for something that's going to go up. Right? Your wife is looking for you to go up in value, right? Just like you are her, but you can't control her. You can control you. So go over and get that worksheet, thepowerfulman.com/SMV. And it's really going to break it down. We just don't have enough time in this show to break down all the elements for you guys. So I put something together exclusively for our listeners just to get an opportunity to do that and go through it.
Yeah, I definitely get access to that.
Yeah. So Tim, one last thing I want to leave these guys with, and just preparing, obviously getting the worksheet and things, but due to time, is your attitude, right? Your internal attitude and your internal game. Your energy enters the room before you do, guys, right? So if you're constantly stressed, you're complaining about being tired, all of these things that we tend to do as men, especially as alpha business leaders, right? When you're going out, you wake up in the morning, you're ready to seize the day. I call it 6 a.m. Doug, which I get up at 4, but that's a different story. I call him 6 a.m. Doug. And so 6 a.m. Doug is ready to conquer the world. I'm up, boom, shower, morning routine. I'm about ready to take the day. Now, the Doug 1.0 would come home from work, battery depleted, right? My battery is fully charged in the morning, a couple cups of coffee, kick some ass at work, right? Conquered all of those things. And then I come home from the day and my battery, it's like my iPhone, right? The battery is almost dead. It's in yellow and it needs to be charged right away. What I used to do, Tim, is I used to lean on my wife to help me charge my battery, right? have a couple drinks, lean on my wife to charge my battery. But that's not fun to be around, right? I would charge my battery so that I would go out with a full battery the next day, and my work, my colleagues, my customers would get my best. My wife, my family, they got the rest. And that's just not good. So your internal game and your energy comes before you. And part of that energy is confidence. Part of that energy that's coming before you is assurance. Part of that energy is really knowing who you are as a man, the power, the things that you're capable with in home, at home, in bed, all kinds of things, right? And it's really about getting activated, right? Going from deactivated to activated. Because when you're activated, you still go 6 a.m. Doug still goes out there and conquers the work. But when he gets home at 6 p.m., he has just as much energy, if not more. He's able to make that shift and come through. And it's not artificial. It actually comes from your energetic presence. And we're able to get that energetic presence, that's when things happen. We're doing, Tim, as you know, come up here when this is released. So this will be released the first week of April. And if you guys are listening to this as they're released, right now you have the opportunity. We're picking some guys. We're creating a special private group. We're going to show men how to seduce their wife in 60 seconds or less, right? This is part of how you do it, guys. This is one element. If you guys are interested in being in that group, it's completely free. Again, it's just another way for us to give back. You want to go over in the Facebook group and go ahead and just type in the word seduce, right? There should be a post by the time this is released, and then someone's going to reach out to you. It's a private group. Once it's closed, it's closed. I'm sorry. I know we've done this before and guys tried to get in. I'm sorry, guys. We had hundreds of men go through the last one we did. Amazing results. This one should be just as good. It's 60 seconds on how to seduce your wife in 60 seconds or less. And we've had men with tremendous results on this. But guys, what we're talking about now and how to raise your sexual market value is just one component of how you can do that in the long run and how you can get that going on over there. So, gentlemen, in wrapping up, what I'm going to suggest you do is, again, Tim and I come on here. We try to give you the best advice and insights that we can in such a short period of time. The programs that we run are anywhere from 8 weeks to a year, and most men keep on. And we're trying to fit them into 30-minute, clips just to give you guys some stuff. And so I hope it's helpful. And that's why I spent the time creating this little worksheet. If you go over to thepowerfulman.com/SMV, that's Sam, Mary, Victor. I'm going to change the initials every time. SMV. You go ahead and download that worksheet and get started on to today. Think of it as just an extension of this podcast. So, Tim, as always, man, thank you so much for being here. I love that you're able to free your time. I know how busy you are. Gentlemen, as we always say, take action. Don't use these podcasts as educational masturbation. We got enough of that in this world. You don't need any more here. I want you guys to get the results, right? I want you guys to go from where I used to be, right? In this place of just stuck, unclear, just going, what the heck? Almost pulling my hair out, trying to figure out why my marriage wasn't working when it used to be so amazing, to back where it is, where my wife's taking me out on dates. We just got done throwing hatchets, and axes and, having just a great date day, which I'll share in another podcast episode, and just amazing sex. I mean, it's available for you guys. And that's the reason I dedicate my time to producing these for Tim, and want to make sure you guys are getting it. So, gentlemen, take some action, have an amazing day, and we'll see you the next time on The Powerful Man Show.